This is the 49ers Report. Hey, how you doing? Cam Rogers coming at you. Check me out on Twitter at Mr. Rogers99. All right, so as we go throughout the offseason here, we are very close to the new league year and talking about bringing in some new pieces for the 49ers. So I have ranked 10 key offensive free agents out there. So let's get into it. Number 10, Paul Richardson, wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks here, and he'll be much cheaper than, say, an Allen Robinson or Jarvis Landry here. And my theory on Paul Richardson is I feel like the Seahawks haven't been able to get the most out of him. Number one, because of the offensive scheme. And number two, Richardson has faced his fair share of injuries. The guy has great speed, can blow the top off the coverage, doesn't really have to be a number one or number two guy either, right? Because you have Pierre, Garcon, you have Goodwin on the other side. Maybe Paul Richardson could be a really, really good high-end wide receiver number 3. As you see at the bottom of your screen there, would be a nice compliment to Goodwin and Garcon. So, fantastic potential. He won't be very expensive. Somebody to monitor as we go throughout free agency, especially if there's an instance where other teams out there throw the world at Jarvis Landry and Allen Robinson, and, well, the Seattle Seahawks have to, or the San Francisco 49ers have to look elsewhere in the wide receiver market. Paul Richardson, certainly a name to monitor there. All right, let's go to number 9 here. Donte Moncrief of the Indianapolis Colts. Kind of the same logic here as with Paul Richardson. Could be worth the gamble. Has been plagued with bad quarterback play ever since Andrew Luck and his injuries. But this guy can fly. He's got a nose for the end zone when the situation is right. Between 2015 and 2016, he had 13 touchdowns in 25 games. He's only 24 years old. Plenty of room to grow. He has the upside. He'll come at a cheap price. He'd be an option if the 49ers don't want to spend a lot of money on a wide receiver and perhaps want to allocate a lot of the resources to the guard position, i.e. Andrew Norwell. I'll talk about him later in the program. But Donte Moncrief is certainly a potential option here for the San Francisco 49ers. He's on my list at number 9. Let's check in with number 8 now. Orleans Darkwa, as we head to the running back position here. Definitely the best running back for the Giants in 2017. How about this? When Darkwa was given the ball 20 or more times, he averaged 5.65 yards per carry last season. The Giants went 3-0 in those games. So Darkwa, when given the opportunity, can really be an effective running back. And if Carlos Hyde demands too much money, the 49ers could go cheaper with Darkwa, plug him in as a low-end kind of featured back, 15 to 17 carries a game, mixing in a little Matt Breida, a little sprinkle of Joe Williams, hoping that he comes back healthy and ready to roll. But Orleans Darkwa would be a really nice pickup, a low-key pickup for the 49ers if Carlos Hyde does indeed move on. All right, we'll stay in the backfield here, and we'll check in with one LeGarrette Blount. He ranks at number 7 on my list. Would be a very interesting play here. We know what Blount provides. He's a one-cut running back that invites contact, sheds off defensive backs with ease. He performed really well with the Philadelphia Eagles, a big reason why Philadelphia went on and captured the Lombardi Trophy. It'll be interesting to see here what kind of money LeGarrette Blount demands. And I think that's going to play big time in terms of whether or not he actually signs with the 49ers. Because the guy I'm going to talk about next, if Blount demands more money than him, I think the 49ers should look elsewhere. But it will be interesting to see what LeGarrette Blount kind of looks for in the open market. A name to monitor. He is 31, so it probably won't be a long-term deal by any means, but he's a bruiser back and be good for the goal line, and Joe Williams in those third down situations as well would be nice to go along with Blount. All right, so that next guy is one Dion Lewis at running back. I think he would be a huge pickup for San Francisco, especially at the running back position. He checks in at number 6, played really well for the Patriots amid injuries at running back to Burkhead and Gillislee, etc. Now, reports suggest that Lewis is going to move on. So he's going to test the open market. He's seeking a 3-year deal with $10 million in guarantees. And I think the 49ers can certainly afford that. He's a shifty running back, great receiving the ball, would be a great asset for Jimmy Garoppolo as well. Major prediction right now. This is how I see it. If the 49ers sign Dion Lewis, they will finish in the top 3 in the National Football League in terms of yards per game. I feel very confident in saying that. Whether or not the 49ers actually go out and grab this guy remains to be seen, but he does check in at number 6 in my free agent target rankings, at least on the offensive side of the ball. All right, let's go back to the outside here. Check in with wide receiver Sammy Watkins. He's at number 5 here. I like him a lot. I still believe he has wide receiver number 1 potential. Look, in 2015, despite only playing 13 games, he had 60 passes for 1,047 yards and 9 touchdowns. Physical receiver, loves the end zone. He would be crucial in the green zone / red zone, however you want to look at it. And last year, Watkins was only targeted 70 times in 15 games with the Rams. Much of that had to do with, of course, Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp playing really well and Todd Gurley playing the way he played. And the other thing, the knock on Sammy Watkins is struggles to get separation. But I really don't think that's a problem for the 49ers when you have a guy that can stretch the field in Goodwin. You have Pierre Garcon on the other side. You have Sammy Watkins too. I mean, there's just not enough there for opposing defenses, right? I mean, there's no way they could effectively cover all 3 of those wide receivers. So I think Sammy Watkins would see a lot of one-on-one coverage and won't get as double-teamed with the San Francisco 49ers as he did with the LA Rams. Sammy Watkins, number 5 on my list. Let's go to the offensive line with the big uglies there. Justin Pugh at the guard position. Yes, at guard. He can play tackle, but the 49ers really wouldn't need him to, and he's not as good as a tackle either. So he has fantastic ability on the interior of the offensive line. He's young, he can pull well, he can make immediate impacts for the 49ers if he comes in. Ranked as a top 20 run-blocking guard in both 2015 and 2016. Placed on IR last season, so yeah, there's a little bit of an injury question mark there. His pass protection needs a little bit of work, but I feel like you can look past that with his fantastic run-blocking ability. And I talked about how Brandon Fusco could move on and check out what he can do in the free agency market. Justin Pugh would be a nice addition for the 49ers and perhaps an upgrade over Fusco at the guard position. All right, so there is Justin Pugh at number 4. Getting to the cream of the crop now. Number 3, Jarvis Landry, wide receiver. And you YouTube watchers out there, hold on before you comment. I understand there is Trent Taylor at the slot. Yes, fantastic player and all that. But if Jarvis Landry shows interest, the 49ers should at least make an attempt here. See what kind of money he is demanding. I think he'd be a fantastic security blanket for Garoppolo. Landry has a great catch radius, and according to Spot Track, Landry's market value is about a 5-year, $69 million deal that averages to $13.8 million a season, which is actually going to be less than what the franchise tag amount will be. And I'll talk about the franchise tag coming up in the next player. But Jarvis Landry, I think, would be a very solid pickup, and perhaps option B if Allen Robinson isn't available. I'd expect the 49ers to at least look into the opportunity. I understand there are needs on the offensive line and elsewhere on the defensive side. But still, Jarvis Landry, a name to monitor here. I think he would be a very, very solid wide receiver for Jimmy Garoppolo in that offense. Sticking with the wide receiver theme, you heard me mention his name. Allen Robinson checks in at number 2. Coming off an ACL injury, this signing would be somewhat risky here. And it's also worth mentioning that the Jaguars could franchise tag him for approximately $16 million. And it's one of those deals where I feel like the Jaguars want to put the best offense on the field to essentially put Blake Bortles in the best position to be effective at quarterback. So with that, I could see the franchise tag happening to Robinson. But let's say it doesn't happen. He's the big-bodied receiver who the 49ers would absolutely covet. Now, Robinson is not far removed from that magical 2015 season, catching 80 balls for 1,400 yards and 14 touchdowns. That's the kind of ability that he has. And a lot of 49ers fans out there really want to see him come to the Bay Area and play for San Francisco. It'll be interesting to see if the Jaguars do let him touch the free agency waters, especially with, the ability that he has shown on that squad. But again, Allen Robinson checking in at number 2 at the wide receiver position. And finally, number 1, Andrew Norwell. This is best case scenario, ladies and gentlemen. If the 49ers find a way to sign Andrew Norwell, I can probably say right here, right now, they will be very close to winning free agency because this guy is unbelievable. The 3rd-ranked guard, according to Pro Football Focus a year ago, gave up 0 sacks, 0 hits in 2017. He has no idea what a sack sandwich is because he doesn't give up sacks. He's that good, just 26 years young, too, has played consistently well throughout his career. So just imagine this, right? I've mentioned this before on the program. You got Kilgore at center, that's cemented. You bring in Norwell at guard on one side. Then you draft Quentin Nelson in that 1st round. Think about that interior. Think about that run game. And think about the pass protection for your franchise, Jimmy Garoppolo. All right, I want to hear from you, though. Which free agent do you want the most? Give me a heart for Jarvis Landry, a wow face for Andrew Norwell, a laughing face for Allen Robinson, and a like for Sammy Watkins. And be sure to explain yourself in the comments section as well. This has been the 49ers Report here on San Francisco 49ers by Chat Sports. I'm Cam Rogers. Check me out on Twitter at Mr. Rogers99. I am saying goodbye. I'll see you next week.